Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and to my MS Awareness Week videos. Today's video is going to be all about my fitness journey and exercise and what I did to get from being paralysed in a hospital bed to where I am at now, a normal person. I work out, I go to the gym, I go for runs, I cycle, I do loads of stuff, and I have loads of tips. So I'm going to try and compile them as quickly as I can into this video. This is going to be a two-part video. This first part is going to be all about the small things that I did at the very start when I had just been discharged from hospital, all of the little things that I did to ensure that I was progressing physically in my recovery following my first attack. Honestly, exercise has been integral in my recovery. I would not be where I'm at now physically if I didn't push myself to do exercise, if I didn't force myself when I wanted to run away and lie in my bed all day and cry because my body was not doing what I wanted it to do. I felt so alien in my body. If I'd given into that, I would not have recovered, I think, in the way that I have recovered, which is I'm now fully recovered, I'm symptom free, everything is good. So I'm going to share all of my tips. Also, I get asked all the time on Instagram what kind of exercise I do and if I follow any specific plans or anything. And I really want to talk about it, and I really want to do more relating to exercise because I think it is like the biggest tool you can use when recovering from anything in life. But I don't want to reply to these people saying what I actually do, because I would hate for someone to compare themselves to me and think that they'll never be able to do what I'm doing, or they'll never be able to get to the level that I'm at or recover to the point that I have recovered. I really want my videos to be inspiring, not something that people compare themselves to that's out of their reach. So that's why I'm making this video, because it's going to be like a base of everything, and then I can maybe on my Instagram go more into exercise or make videos. I don't know, because I also don't want to be another person who is trying to get into the fitness industry, or is another person who's putting their workouts online or something. Even though it doesn't matter what other people think, yeah, I don't know. I've worked very hard to get to where I'm at now physically, and I really want to share my tips because I have so many of them. I'm over the moon that at the moment I'm anxiety free, I'm fatigue free, which is something that I really used to suffer with. My energy levels are through the roof. I have no MS symptoms at all, which is pretty crazy considering where I was at in August 2016. We're starting this fitness exploration in August 2016 following my first attack. If you haven't watched my first video, I will link it down below, and I suggest that you go and watch that so you know what happened to me, where I was at, what happened to my body following my first pretty intense attack. So going back to September, October 2016, I had just been discharged from hospital and I could walk at this point, but everything was very robotic. I had a very wide gait, which basically means my legs were very far apart when I was walking, and everything was very robotic, and I was looking down at the floor because I was very wobbly, I was very not with it, I couldn't really feel where my legs were. I felt every tiny change in the surface I was walking on, whether it being terrain, gradient. I felt every tiny bit, turns, and all of that made me feel very unsteady and very unstable. Walking felt very alien to me, and it was not nice to feel like that, and it was extremely off-putting, and to be honest I wanted to just cry every time I tried to walk, but I forced myself every day to get up and walk because I was so determined to get my life back together to how it was before. And so this brings me to my first tip. Number one, the most important tip when getting back into exercise for anyone, if you've just had a relapse, if you're symptom free and you want to increase your activity levels, if you don't have MS, if you're just a normal person, and that is be safe. I want people to be inspired by this video. That would be amazing if someone said, you've inspired me to go out and be more active. That is amazing. What I don't want on my conscience is people going out guns blazing and injuring themselves. So please be safe. Please only do things that you know you can do, or if you are going to do other stuff, please get some sort of trained professional to go through it with you. So at this point in my recovery, I had a neuro physio. It's very hard to say. I had a neuro physio who worked with me. So when I started at the very beginning, I was with a trained professional, so I was safe. My second tip is count your steps that you're taking. I don't mean physically count it, like every 1, 2, 3. Well, you can do that if you want, but I'd get confused. What I did was I wore like a Fitbit fitness tracker that recorded all my steps. Most phones these days have this already built in some sort of health app. And what I would do was I would see how many steps I did in a day, and the next day I would beat that. I would force myself to do more steps than that. I remember this so clearly. I had this fitness tracker on, and pretty much like 2 or 3 days after I got out of hospital, I saw that I had walked, I don't know why I'm staring at my watch so much. I saw that I had walked something like 1,000 steps or 1 kilometre, and I remember saying to my family, wow, I've walked 1,000 steps. And I mean, 1,000 steps is not much to some people, but I had gone from 6 weeks of being hospital bed bound, aside from going to eat or my 30 minutes a day of a physio session. I was pretty much bed bound, so I probably walked maybe about 20 steps a day. So to go from that to 1,000 steps was just mind blowing to me. So this is such a simple tip that anyone can apply in their lives, and that is just keep your activity going up, and that's keep your step count going up and up and up. And that's the first thing that I did in the very, very beginning of my recovery to get myself moving and grooving again. Okay, so we're walking, we're practicing walking, life is improving. The next tip that I have is a piece of equipment, and I've got it here. And it is a TRX bar. This one isn't an actual TRX bar because they're about £200. This is a knockoff. It was about £20 on Amazon, but it works in the same way. Ooh. I'll link it down below. It's such a useful and important bit of equipment. I would highly, highly recommend getting one of these. So the point of having this TRX bar was to do certain exercises that's going to get my body moving more fluidly again. Messages traveling from my brain going all the way around my body and get everything moving and grooving again. These exercises were given to me by my physio, and I did things such as squats, lunges, and these things felt really, really alien, and I felt very uncoordinated doing them, but they were so important and so integral in the start of my recovery. The amazing thing about TRX cable is the safety element. I mean, I was so wobbly and so uncoordinated when I was at the very start of doing this. And using these, you essentially can't fall over because, let me see if I can show you. So what you can do is you can hook it in between a door, and I actually hooked it in between my bathroom door and my bedroom door. So it was in my bedroom. I could just do my exercises twice a day in the comfort of my own bedroom. And so whilst I was doing a squat or a lunge, if I was feeling very unstable, I still had the safety of my arms. In case I wobble and fall over, I could pull myself back up with that, so I'm not gonna hurt myself. And it is such a good piece of equipment. I know I keep saying it, but I still use TRX cable now when I do things like squat jumps or jump lunges, because those are still things that I'm a bit wobbly on, or a bit like I need more power so I can use my arms to help me jump and stuff. So onto the next thing that I did. I'm walking, I'm TRX barring. that still wasn't enough for me. Everything was still not moving as quickly and as well as I wanted to, and I still couldn't run. And I have my mum actually to thank getting me back running, and if she watches this, she probably won't, but she would love that if I said that, and that would make her day. But yeah, whilst I was in hospital, it was very health and safety overload, running, attempting to run, out of the question. I was lucky they even let me try to walk. So I remember I was in my garden, because I used to just do, how sad is this? I used to just do little like walks around my garden before I started venturing out onto my road. And my mum just said, just run. Don't think about it, just run. I was like, run? Are you mad? But I just ran, and running was, my brain just had a mental explosion. Too much information was going on in here, because walking was fine, I was just about starting to get to grips with it, but speeding all of that up and going running was just mental. Running felt like, I don't know if anyone has seen those videos of dogs wearing socks or shoes and them running. That is how running felt to me when I immediately first started doing it. My legs felt like lead. I was all over the place. I couldn't feel where my legs were. I was just a mess, but I was moving quicker and I was running, so it was positive. So these runs were really tiny runs. I'm talking just runs around my garden or runs up and down my road, until I got a bit confident and I decided to start a couch potato to 5k training plan, because I really wanted to be able to run and get my fitness levels to start going up. So I started doing that. Whilst I was doing this, I noticed that my body was a bit different. So my left side and my right side are a bit different from each other. So I was running and I was noticing that it was basically my right leg taking all of the strain, all of the weight, and my left leg was sort of plodding along next to it. That did start to kind of, my two sides started to even out a little bit as I got better at running, but still up until about a year ago, that was still, my left side and my right side were very different from each other. Well, they felt different from each other in my body. No one would notice that they were different, but they felt different within my body. But for about 3/4 of a year, I want to say, I focused on running, and I was running about 3 to 4 times a week. But then I sort of noticed that I wasn't really improving anymore, and I still was quite uneven in the two sides of my body, and I switched up my training in August. Well, about August time, and since I did that, I have noticed the hugest difference in my body, in my balance, coordination, energy levels. Don't have any fatigue, I don't have any MS symptoms, and my two sides have never felt more in sync and together and equal. And I will explain all in part 2, which I'll be uploading tomorrow. Give the video a like if you're excited to hear my training secrets. Give the video a like if this has helped you in some way, and click subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I will see you in my video tomorrow.